Did you know that the sun shines more energy onto the Earth's surface than all of its inhabitants use in an entire year? With growing concerns about dwindling resources like coal and oil, it's easy to see why green, clean and renewable power make up such a large part of the global conversation about energy, especially because renewable systems are becoming increasingly practical, even for everyday citizens, to install and use.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Bazaar. Electricity is something that makes all of our lives run smoothly. From powering our kitchens to our phones, it's something that one cannot imagine living without. This week, we will explore the electrical power industry and its related trades in Iran. We will take a look at just how its market has become the mother of all industries, both nationally and internationally. Time to switch on today's Bazaar.
We began our journey at Bazaar Central Power Generation Company. It was first established in 2012 as a sub-company operating under Bazaar Power and Energy Industry Holding Company. This holding company was the first private firm investing in the Iranian electricity industry. As one of the largest private companies present in the domestic electricity industry, this holding company is composed of a number of other companies involved in purchase, construction and operation of power plants. Bazaar Holding possesses 5 major power plants with an overall production capacity of over 5,000 megawatts. It was the first private company in the history of the country's electricity industry to privatize state-owned plants. Bazaar Central Power Generation Company is one of 11 firms in this business. It is active in the field of electricity production and sales. The main goal in establishing this company was to address electricity issues within this geographical zone in the country. It also supplies part of the electricity in Iran's national grid. This cooperation satisfies the increasing electrical need in the agricultural sector and public consumption in the area. It first began its activity by planning and constructing 2 CCHP plant units. These units have a total nominal production capacity of 3 megawatts.
برنامه اصلی بنیاد که بالاخره ما این هولدینگ مجموعه بنیاد هست، مبحث اصلیش محرومیت زدایی و ارتقاء خانواده‌های مستضعف در کشور هست، چرا که این دارایی اون بزرگواران و اون عزیزان هست که به صورت امانت در اختیار ما قرار گرفت. خب در دستور کار قرار گرفت این حجم سرمایه‌گذاری در خرم‌آباد داشته باشیم که همونجوری خدمتتون گفتم نیروگاه خرم‌آباد در منطقه محروم قرار گرفته. بعد از اون ما در استان هرمزگان قرار بر این شد که یک واحد گازی 160 مگاواتی چون نیاز مبرم اون منطقه داره به ظرفیت اون منطقه اضافه کنیم.
For several years, Iran has been expanding its investment climate in renewable energy. With the aim of increasing renewables, the Ministry of Energy drastically reduced the tariff on electricity from renewable energy sources in 2016. Also among its ambitious plans, Iran is planning to add at least 1 gigawatt to total power generating capacity each year through 2025. Along these lines, the government is targeting the installation of more than 5,000 megawatts of renewable capacity by 2022.
Its first solar power plant project has been initiated in sunny Qale Ganj in Kerman province. Its location is perfect because it experiences sunny days for over 300 days in the year. Also, like much of the region, Qale Ganj experiences an average of 2.2 thousand kilowatt hours of solar radiation per square meter.
این چیزی که امروز ما اینجا هستیم و شما دارید ازش تصویر برداری می‌کنید نیروگاه 1 مگاواتی در از 4 مگاواتی قلعه گنج هست که 1 مگاوات اون به بهره برداری و تولید برق رسیده و 3 مگاوات بعدی در حال احداث و سرمایه گذاری و تجهیزاتش هست.
This solar farm has a nominal capacity of 4 megawatts. This company has also invested in 5 other renewable energy projects, which involve solar and wind power generation. These projects collectively have a nominal production capacity of 64 megawatts after completion. This project uses photovoltaic systems in solar panels that are mounted in the ground on its solar farm. The energy is collected and sunlight is then converted directly into electric power. The PV system produces direct current power which fluctuates with the sunlight's intensity. The company converts the alternating current through the use of inverters. Multiple solar cells are connected inside modules which are wired together to form arrays. Then they are connected to an inverter which produces power at the desired voltage. Among its many activities, this company constructs power plant projects and provides services for connecting these projects to Iran's national grid. The Qaleganj solar plant is expected to supply electricity to the surrounding towns as well as industries through the national grid.
ما در دستورکارمون احداث نیروگاه‌های حرارتی به ظرفیت حدود 1000 مگاوات تا پایان سال 1401 در دستورکارمون قرار گرفته. همونجوری که مستحضر بکنه تعاملات خیلی خوبی ما داشتیم توی این چند ماه گذشته با مجموعه مپنا. آرزوام خدمتتون که انشاءالله ما تو اولین فرصت نیروگاه خرم‌آباد رو که یکی از نیروگاه‌های جدید و احداث مجموعه سبا هست افتتاح خواهیم کرد. پس از اون ما در دستورکارمون هست ظرفیت نیروگاهیمون رو در نیروگاه خرمشهر، یعنی واحدهای گازیمون رو تبدیل کنیم به نیروگاه سیکته ترکیبی. در دستورکارمون هست که این کار رو انجامش بدیم. انشالله واحدهای بخار نیروگاه خرم‌آبادمون، بخش بخار نیروگاه خرم‌آباد و بخش بخار نیروگاه چابهارمون هم تا پایان سال 1399 یعنی تا پایان امسال به بهره برداری خواهد رسید.
تو بحث تجدیدپذیرا به این معنا نیستش که ما فقط به سراغ سولار و سلول‌های خورشیدی رفته باشیم. یه پروژه تقریباً ابر پروژه‌ای ما در مد نظر داریم تو خود شرکت تولید نیروی مرکزی که بتونیم به صورت خانگی ظرفیت‌های 20 کیلوواتی نیروگاه‌های بادی به خانه‌ها تزریق کنیم که خب این هم از بعد محرومیت زدایی خیلی میتونه مفید باشه و هم بعد درآمدزایی برای مناطق محروم و خود خانواده‌ها.
Today, Iran ranks as the 14th largest producer and 17th largest consumer of electricity in the world, the top consumers being China and the United States, followed by others. With an installed power production capacity of around 82,000 megawatts, Iran meets its electricity demand from aging thermal plants. There are plans, though, to encourage further development of the renewable energy sector.
Iran's energy mix is dominated by hydrocarbons. Natural gas and petroleum derivatives power traditional thermal power plants. 98% of Iran's total energy demand is supplied this way. The remaining 2% comes from a combination of nuclear, biofuels, and other renewable sources. Using fossil fuels produces and discharges all kinds of pollutants which endanger our lives and environments. A significant part of the pollution, just about 35% of pollution, comes from power plants.
من چند روز گذشته در چابهار بودم. اونجا خیلی جالبه، پاکستانی ها اومدن سرمایه گذاری کردن. دلیلش رو که من از این دوستان پاکستانی سوال کردم دلیل سرمایه گذاریتون، یکی گفت بحث ارزان بودن انرژی هست، دوم ارزان بودن نیروی انسانی هست که نیروی انسانی متخصص. من اینجا اشاره میکنم خیلی از کشورها شما نگاه میکنید ببینید که نیروی انسانی ارزان هست ولی نیروی کارگری ارزانه، نیروی متخصص ارزان نیست. ما در کشورمون خوشبختانه با ارقی که مردم دارن و خواسته های زیادی رو ندارن، نیروی متخصص ما مناسب‌تره نسبت به هزینه‌هاش نسبت به کشورهای دیگر دنیا. خب این یکی دومین موردی که ایشون اعلام کرد. و مورد سوم که خیلی برای من جای مباهات داشت، تونستم به عنوان یک ایرانی به قضیه نگاه کنم و به خودمان ببالیم، گفت بحث امنیت هست.
No thanks to this individual, the economic sanctions have not been directly imposed on the electrical power industry. However, sanctions have shown some indirect effects in other ways. One significant impact has been on banking and international transactions. This has impeded Iran's ability to import or export certain services or equipment necessary for the electrical power industry. Interestingly so, this has resulted in many domestic opportunities.
Many of the products that were previously imported into the country are now domestically manufactured and released into the market. About 90% of power generation equipment, even complicated parts like turbines and generators, are currently manufactured inside the country. Also, Iran has advanced technology for domestic production of solar panels while operating under foreign licenses. Most solar panel manufacturing companies have automated production lines and can produce solar panels for up to 130 megawatts of power plant facilities. Relying on domestic production has saved $450 million for the country in the second half of last year.
خدا رو شکر با توجه به اینکه در داخل کشور فناوری تولید سلول‌های خورشیدی و حالا توربین‌های بادی از توسط شرکت‌های داخلی و دانش بنیان در حال انجامه، شاید مثلا تا دهه پیش مشکلاتی وجود داشته باشه، ولی الان ما واقعا به این توانمندی رسیدیم که بتونیم یک نیروگاه خورشیدی با اسکیل بالا 100 مگاوات 200 مگاوات به راحتی انجام بدیم.
Iran's total renewable energy production capacity is 750 megawatts. The country is ranked at number 8 in terms of renewable energy potential in the world. There are 300 sunny days in almost 80% of the country. The minimum radiation in Iran exceeds the maximum radiation in Europe. Iran can potentially produce 60,000 megawatts of renewables, including solar and wind power. Over-reliance on fossil fuel sources is a problem for a number of reasons. For one, Iran's wealth of hydrocarbons has led the government to heavily subsidize fuels for individual energy consumption. Iran has the fourth largest oil reserve and the second largest supply of natural gas among OPEC, making the country a global hydrocarbons behemoth. At around 19 cents per litre, the price of gasoline is near that of a bottle of mineral water in Iran, and at just 4.5 cents per kilowatt hour of electricity, citizens pay far below the global average. By comparison, the average electricity supplier in the UK charges an average of 19 cents per kilowatt hour.
The price difference is because the government subsidised raw material for energy production, so the final electricity product can be purchased at lower rates. However, renewable energies such as solar and wind do not require governmental financing, as the raw material used to produce such energy in Iran comes from sources in the environment. These sources quickly renew themselves and are naturally available.
Iran produces 115% of domestic electricity demands. Consequently, it does not import electricity except for in rare cases during peak use. The surplus is then exported to other countries. Last year, Iran reached 2.3 million megawatt hours of electricity exports, the highest export volume in recent years. It is predicted that Iran's export of electricity would hit $33 billion by 2025. Iran exports electricity to all its land-bordering neighbors, especially Iraq. For many countries, it is more economical to connect to Iran's electricity grid than it is to construct power plants.
Well, it is now time for another trip out of the studio. So I'll take a break and pass the action over to our good reporter. What do you have for us this week?
We live in a world where we are surrounded by oil, yet we might not even realize it. Whether it be lubricating your car's engine or greasing valves at a factory, it's important that we use oil to increase longevity and functionality of our equipment. We are currently at an industrial oil factory, and I'm standing on top of an oil tank. Let's take a look inside. Oil factories are typically large, sprawling industrial complexes with extensive piping running throughout, carrying streams of fluids between large chemical processing units. the crude oil feedstock has typically been processed by an oil production plant. There is usually an oil depot at or near an oil refinery for the storage of incoming crude oil feedstock, as well as bulk liquid products and additives. Behind me, we can see oil tanks with base oil. This base oil is then blended with different additives found in the steel drums surrounded by me. These additives can then help with anti-rust, anti-abrasion, and cleansing properties, which, depending on the percentage, can differ in the final product. Despite their similar appearance and packaging, both grease and motor oil vary in complexity and formulation in order to best suit the needs of the end consumer. Please tell us a little bit about your company and when it was founded.
این شرکت از سال 1382 تأسیس شد. هدف اولیه تولید انواع روانکارهای صنعتی برای تأمین نیاز صنعت کشور بود که وابستگی رو نسبت به روانکارهای خارجی کم کنه. در حال حاضر حدود 80 نوع محصول خودرویی داره که اینا شامل انواع روغن موتورها از پایین‌ترین سطح تا بالاترین سطح، حتی روغن موتور برای مدل‌های روز اتومبیل‌های 2019 و 2020 داره، انواع روغن‌های دنده برای گیربکس‌های اتومات و دستی تولید می‌کنه، انواع گریس‌های خودرویی، انواع هیدرولیک خودرویی و انواع ضد یخ و ضد جوش رو تولید می‌کنه. ما حدود بیش از 550 نوع محصول صنعتی مورد نیاز صنایع مختلف رو توانایی فرمولاسیون و ساخت داریم.
Here at Train, they take pride in being one of the few factories that can produce select types of grease that have a widespread use in the industrial oil sector. Tell us a little bit about the difference between oil and grease and elaborate about it.
اهمیتی که روانکارها چه تو صنعت چه تو حمل و نقل عمومی و زندگی ما انسان‌ها دارن اینه که اگر وسیله صنعتی ما یا خودرو ما متناسب با نوع روانکاری که کمپانی تعریف کرده ما اون روانکار رو استفاده کنیم، میتونیم از صدمات زیادی که موجب هزینه‌های خیلی بالایی برای اون دستگاه یا خودرو میشه جلوگیری کنیم. ما توی در واقع دنیای صنعت بیشتر از گریس‌ها استفاده میکنیم. گریس‌ها هم نسبت به نقطه ذوبشون و دوامشون تعدادهای مختلفی دارن و برای هر صنعتی گریس خاص استفاده میشه. تو صنعت نیروگاهی هم ما علاوه بر گریس روغنهای توربین هم داریم میسازیم و تحویل میدیم. برای ساخت گریس مورد نیاز صنایع سیمان ما به تجهیزاتی نیاز داشتیم که خب این تجهیزات رو اگر میخواستیم از کشور آلمان یا اروپا وارد کنیم میلیون‌ها دلار هزینه داشت. ما با گرفتن نقشه های این طراحیش و 0 تا 100ش رو توسط کادر فنی خودمون و مهندسین خودمون انجام دادیم و این لوازم و تجهیزات رو برای این خط گریس ساختیم با قیمتی معادل شاید 1/20.
Here, we have the grease blenders. Once the product is adequately mixed, it heads over to the semi-automated packaging line. Once filled, it heads to the open market for you. Although grease is largely used due to their high demand in factory settings, oil too plays an essential role in everyday life. Whenever you head outside, remind yourself that oil is what you need to keep your car engine running so you can go wherever you need. When we think of motor oil, we think of something that comes in a packaging that looks more so like this, but it's what's on the inside that really counts. Depending on the ratio of raw materials mixed, different oils for different industries can be made. Raw materials play a key role in lubricant production. It all starts with base oil, which is classified into 5 groups. They're distinguished by their sulfur and saturate percentage as well as their viscosity index. Group 1 base oils are less refined in comparison to Group 3 base oils and therefore result in a less desirable final product. Kindly tell us about your future endeavors for this company.
برنامه آینده این شرکت هم گرفتن سهم بیشتر توی کشور، هم صادرات به کشورهای همسایه که اتفاقا الان با وضعیتی که کشور ما داره صادرات به کشورهای پاکستان، افغانستان، عراق و هند توجیه داره و ما الان خب تقریبا اولین قرارداد صادراتیمون رو برای یکی از این کشورها بستیم و در حال مذاکره با دیگران هستیم برای صادرات به کشورهای دیگه. شرکت ما یه نگاه خیلی متفاوتی به مصرف کننده و بازار داره و ما حالا علاوه بر اهداف دیگه‌ای که داریم که یک برند میدین ایران رو آبرومند کنیم. مثلا ما یه محصولی داریم برای گروه پژو که اتفاقا طراحی خودمون، ثبت این طراحی جدیدم تو ایران به نام ما ثبت شده. ما داریم ثبت جهانیش هم میکنیم که فیلتر روغن به صورت فری داخل این روغن قرار گرفته.
It's good to note that Train is audited by reputable inspection centers 1 to 2 times a month to ensure the highest quality control standards are met. This means that only the best of the best makes it to the open market for sale for people like you and I. This is one of the best laboratories in the industrial oil field sector in Iran. All raw materials must first come here for quality control before being passed on to the production line. Once produced, they must also come back here for another check before being placed into the open market. That's all for this segment. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for another superb adventure. Keep them coming. Now we're going to take a look at what new developments have been happening in the electrical industry. Industrial units with electricity consumption of about 5 megawatts will be able to buy electricity directly from power plants. This will ensure mutual benefit for both sides, as power producers get a 10% tax break and buyers get electricity cheaper from IRONX. So, for high or energy-intensive industries such as mining, this price difference is a key factor for managing utility expenses.
Privately owned electrical power plants and a number of state-owned power plants are listed in the IRONX and sell electricity through this energy market. Over 100 companies, including petrochemical plants, refineries and power plants, provide their commodities and services in the Iran Energy Exchange. There are plans to review the current rules and allow the presence of low-capacity electrical power plants to enter the exchange and increase competitiveness.
Iran expects to start producing electricity from the heat of the earth in less than a year from now. The Meshkin Shah geothermal power plant has been an ongoing project and it is expected to be inaugurated and operational next year. Currently, Iran has no other geothermal power plants, so this is an exciting project.
It is located in Ardabil province near the Azerbaijan border in the northwest. This plant has a nominal capacity of 55 megawatts. Its attractiveness isn't only because it is Iran's first, but also because it is the first geothermal power plant in the Middle East. Essentially, the power plant works like any other thermal power plant, except for that its fuel source comes from the Earth's core by drilling deep wells.
North Khorasan Electric Distribution Company is starting a project for rooftop photovoltaic panels. A total of 2,500 rooftop voltaic panels are to be installed, each with a capacity of 5 kilowatts. These small-scale entities or individual homes who sell electricity back to the grid receive payment for their contributions from utilities.
In addition to expanding clean energy, the solar panels will generate income for the rural families in these areas. Each photovoltaic panel with 1 kilowatt capacity can generate 200 kilowatts of power in 30 days. Satbar buys each kilowatt of electricity for 6.4 cents, meaning households and businesses selling power can generate extra monthly income this way. The government and Ministry of Energy guarantees purchase of electricity generated by all renewable sources for the next 20 years. Also, electricity purchased from these installations will be bought at a higher rate.
Well, that's about it for this edition of the programme. Don't forget to get involved via our Instagram. Leave us a comment or send us a message with your thoughts. We would love to know what you think about today's Bazaar. I've been Samson Sees. See you next time.